I love Thanksgiving. Or at least I did until about half an hour ago. That's when my cousin Crystal and her family showed up. She's a lot older than I am and has a husband and two gooey little kids. They were passing through Pennsylvania today on their way down to Florida. So my mom and dad invited them to join us for dinner. On Thanksgiving, which is the absolute worst day in the world to sit down at a table with vegans. I haven't even known that word until today. Here's how I learned it. Right after cousin Crystal and her family came through the door, she handed Mom a big box wrapped with foil. I brought a tofurkey, she said. Oh, what is that? I asked. It almost sounded like a bad word. A tofu turkey, she said. We're vegans. We don't eat meat or fish or milk or eggs. Meat is murder, her daughter Angie said. Meat is tasty, I said. Now, Eric, you need to respect other people's beliefs, Mom said. And they don't have to respect mine? Ugh. I kept my mouth shut. Mom put the tofurkey in the oven. I helped set the table. Angie and her little brother, Sam, followed me around. Do you have any companion animals? He asked. What? I didn't have a clue. They both looked at me like I was stupid, then said, dogs or cats? You mean pets? I asked. That's what unethical barbarians call them, Angie said. Civilized people call them companions. Yeah, I've got a companion. He lives in a bowl of water in my bedroom. He stinks at keeping me company because every time I take him out of the water so we can do stuff together, he starts to die. I did an imitation of a gasping fish. I think it was pretty good. My second cousins thought otherwise. Mom! Angie shouted. Cousin Eric is being mean. You stink, Sam said. Fish killer. Mom shot me a glare and a long sigh, which I knew was a dangerous combination. But I could tell Dad was struggling not to laugh. The real food was ready, so we sat down at the table. Happy Thanksgiving, Dad said. He put the turkey on the table and picked up the carving knife. The bird was a beauty. 12 pounds, fat and juicy. And it came from a turkey farm right across the river. I couldn't wait to bite into the drumstick. At least I wouldn't have to fight my second cousin for one. Happy Turkey Slaughter Day, Angie said. I turned toward her and made slashing noises with my knife. Yeah, I'm pretty sure most of the turkeys were slaughtered a couple of days ago. Mom, Angie shouted, make him stop. My mom shot me another glare. I shut up, but cousin Crystal kept lecturing us. Meat is ruining the whole planet. They put all sorts of hormones in cattle feed, and all that stuff washes into the river and pollutes everything. It's a miracle there aren't giant fish or something flopping on the banks. On top of which, you're 2 miles from a nuclear reactor and less than 3 miles of a pesticide plant. It's amazing you all aren't mutants and giants. Or giant mutants, I muttered, just loudly enough for Dad to hear. Meat pollutes your whole body, Cousin Crystal said. Vegans are healthier, Angie said. We make better athletes. I'll bet I can run faster than you. Nice thick gravy. I licked my lips. Well, some things aren't meant to run, like gravy. After I finished the drumstick, which I purposely chewed with my mouth open while staring at Angie, I got a slab of white meat and drowned it in gravy. Animals have feelings too, Cousin Crystal said. This one feels crispy, I muttered. I kept my voice down, but Dad flashed me a smile. He loves steak. I was just helping myself to a third when the side of the house crashed in. I heard the loudest gobbling sound in the world. A giant turkey burst into the dining room. It was so tall, its comb touched the ceiling. We all scrabbled through the opening in the wall. The turkey in the house wasn't alone. I could see several more giant turkeys making their way across the river from the turkey farm. We raced out of the yard and headed up to the hill behind the house. I was feeling a bit sluggish from all that food. Angie hadn't exaggerated about her foot speed. She and the rest of the vegans got way ahead of us. As Cousin Crystal reached the top of the hill, she paused long enough to taunt me. See? Meat will get you killed, you pathetic carnivore. She might be right. The turkeys were catching up with us. At least my last meal tasted great, I shouted as I tried for a third, desperate burst of speed. I stumbled and fell. I was too stuffed to get up. Seconds later, one of the turkeys hovered over me. It picked at my leg, sending a jolt of agony through my thigh. I braced myself for another peck, but the turkey paused and cocked his head. Instead of attacking me, it did something I didn't know birds could do. It spat, then shuddered, gobbled some turkey sounds at its giant turkey friends, and raced past the meat eaters, heading up the hill toward the vegans. I'd hoped they didn't like the taste of vegans either, I said. As much as I didn't want to have another meal with the vegans, I didn't really want them to become a meal either. The shrieks that came from the other side of the hill a couple of moments later told me I hadn't got my wish. So, while these particular turkeys aren't vegans themselves, it turns out that, unlike me, they like having vegans for dinner. Go figure. Mom got up and dusted herself off. There's pie, she said. Sounds good, Dad said. And we can have sandwiches later. There's plenty of leftovers. That was one big bird you cooked for us this year. I've seen bigger, I said. Dad grinned at me. I guess we'll always be able to say that. Mom and Dad headed down the hill. I followed. Dad was right. Pie sounded good.